Hello everyone, this is Pallavi 𝙏𝙚𝙖𝙘𝙝, coding instructor at the Coding Trails. Today we are here to discuss the concepts of web development. Here we will learn everything about web development right from the basics. So what is web development, why we should learn it, where it is used, everything we'll cover here. Let us first start with what is web app or a website. A web app is an application or a program that is stored on maybe a remote server and which can be accessed with the help of a browser. Some examples of most commonly used websites are YouTube, Facebook, Amazon, etc. Now, let us come to what is web development. Web development is about creating a website, and we can say all the work that is involved while creating a website comes under the process or the term of web development. Okay, so now website and web development. So let us now very quickly get into our concept. So let us very quickly get into the concept of web development. Okay, let's go to this web development now. Clear? What is web development? We have already seen why do we need web development. So now you know already, right, what is web development and how important it is. Let's see why do we need to learn this. Basically, it helps to design web pages which can impact how audience perceives a brand. And a website can also be used to connect with the clients. The field of this web development not only teaches you behind the scenes step of creating and maybe maintaining a website, but it is also used to improve some of the skills, let's say critical thinking, creativity, and fierce attention to detail. So let us now discuss about some of the tools for developing a website. Okay, so there are three main tools to develop a website: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. JS stands for JavaScript. Okay, we'll look into each one of it in detail. Let me open my whiteboard and come back to you here. Okay, so let's say we have kind of let's say here I'll pick up a text and let me write down. So this web development is kind of basically divided into three areas. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Okay, and okay, so let's say this is HTML, CSS, JS. As I told you, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Next is JavaScript. Okay, we will talk about each one of those. Okay, we'll have a short introduction. So this HTML, let's say let's first discuss this HTML and CSS with the help of example. Let's say I want to draw a painting. I want to paint a canvas. This is my canvas, okay, the real canvas. So I want to paint this canvas, and in this canvas, let's say I want to paint a scenery. So my first step is going to be what all components we need in this scenery. Let's say I need some, mountains like this, like this, like this, okay. Somewhere here I need a tree, okay, like this. Let's say here I need sun, some river flowing here, okay. I know it's a bad drawing, but just please bear with me. I'm not that good at drawing. So the first step is to, decide what all components we want in a scenery. Same thing in the HTML, okay. The very first thing that we need to do while creating a website is to decide what all components we want, okay. For example, okay, let's see this YouTube website, okay. So in this YouTube website, what happens when we open it? There is, kind of a search bar with the search button and lots of, small previews to the videos. Then here I have some button sort of thing, then this. So everything we first need to decide that what all components I need on the website, okay. So this is the first step. Next is we need to place all these components on our website, okay. So for example, I have painted everything on the scenery on the canvas. So that is my next step. I have already painted it. So next step in HTML or a website is to put the components that I want on my website, okay. And we put these components on our website with the help of HTML, okay, basically HTML tags, okay. So these tags, HTML tags, we'll be discussing in next few minutes, but for now you can consider that these HTML tags are used to put the components whatever we have decided on our website. Clear? Next is CSS. So after painting the components on the canvas, we now need to color them. We need to decide what all color we need to put in. Let's say we need to paint the mountains brown in color, tree green in color, the river maybe blue, and the sun, if it is a morning scene, I need to paint it yellowish or maybe a little orangish. But if it is a sunset or a sunrise, we need to paint it little reddish, okay. And even the sky should be in parallel to the sun, okay. The color should be in parallel to the sun. So basically, now we have to decide how my painting should look like. Clear? Similarly, I have placed all the components on the website by now. Now we need to decide how all these components looks like. What all are the colors that we need, just see, look at this. So, this area should be white in color with the background, with the text color as black. Here, should be, the text little bold in, bold. You can see this text, it's bold, little bold, okay. Then all these things we need to decide basically how my website looks like, okay. So in the CSS, we tell how my website looks. So with the help of the CSS, we write down the code in the CSS that what all colors I need, what all background I need, the text should be bold, the text size, font family, everything comes under this CSS. So this CSS decides how my website will look. And finally, let's come to this JS. JS tells the functionality of the website, what a website should do. Okay, so whatever components we have placed, we need to tell in this JS that what those component needs to do. For example, if you'll see in the YouTube video, if I'll click on music button, it will display all the videos with which are, some music related to some music. Okay, it's taking a little bit time, but that's fine. The idea is to just make you aware. Okay, so all these are the music videos. Okay, so let's say I have placed a button on my um, website. Okay, then the functionality means what should happen when the button is clicked. Okay, for example, if you have entered some data, then a submit button should be, submitting all the details that you have entered. Okay, next example is, let's say this button can lead you to some other website or maybe a web page. Okay, so all these functionality, what the component should do, should be here in this JS. Okay, so if I'll say web development is what components are present. CSS decides how components should look like, and the JavaScript defines what components should do. Clear? So all these things has to be present. We have to mention all of these things while the process of web development. Clear? Okay, now let's get back to our slide. So all the three tools, we already have an introduction of all of them. Let's go to our next slide, that is tags in HTML. Okay, now what are tags in HTML? See, I told you a few minutes ago, tags are basically used to put the components on the website. Okay, so you can say these tags are used to give instructions to put the different components on the website. Okay, there are few things that we need to remember about these tags is, tags are not case sensitive. Means whether you write it in capital letters or in small letters, it doesn't matter. Okay, then we need opening and closing tag in our website while developing a website. For example, I'll tell you. Let's say, I'll just scroll it down. Let's say I want to give a heading, let's say trees. I am actually creating a website. Just consider I'm creating a website about trees. Okay, so I have given this heading. Clear? So now let's say this, I have one tag. We can call it as H tag. So I'll write it like H. H tag is to create a heading. Okay, to start a heading. Okay, now this H1 tells, H1 is a tag that is used to give a heading. Okay, so now this H1 tag tells that my heading is starting from here, and this H1 tag tells that my heading is ended here. Okay, my heading started here, my heading ended here. Okay, so what's the difference between the starting and the ending? See, if you notice, tags always comes in pair. There is a opening tag and there is a closing tag. What is the difference between this opening and closing? This slash, if you will put it after this angular bracket, it means we are closing a tag. Okay, so okay, exceptions are always there, not very, let's say 95% tags are always coming in a pair, closing and opening and closing. Okay, there are exceptions. There might be some places where both the tags are not needed. Okay, we discussed that. So this is the way how we mention opening of a tag. This is the way how we mention closing of a tag. Clear? Okay. So now there are two types of tags. As I told you, there are container tags. Okay, container tags are or let's say the non-empty tags and the container tags are the ones that are having that comes in a pair. Opening and closing both are present in those tags. Okay. Then we have some empty tags. Empty tags do not need a closing tag. For example, I can show it to you. Okay, let's say I want to give uh, maybe a horizontal line on our web page, on our website. So see, I simply need a horizontal line. I don't need to tell that my line should start from here and end till here. So simply HR tag we use to tell. Um, okay, just a second. I'll erase this. Okay. Okay, you can ignore this line. Let's not waste time on it. Okay. So this, let's say I have to draw a line that I want to draw like this. Okay. So I here don't need to tell that my line should start from here and end till here, end here. Okay. It is simply a line. Line has to be drawn from the leftmost corner to the rightmost corner. So here I don't need to mention the closing. Okay. So for this we use a HR tag, horizontal line. Okay. So HR tag is an empty tag where you don't need to mention closing of a tag. And all those tags where you really don't need to mention closing of tags are called as empty tags. Clear? Okay. So let us now, switch to our next slide. So my next topic is basic structure of a HTML page. Now what is this basic structure of HTML page? Okay, so I mean it might sound little difficult to you, but to be very honest, it's very simple thing. Just like we have some writing grammar for each language. I mean maybe Hindi, English, Spanish, French, every language has its own grammar, right? And we can use, I mean, this written grammar, this grammar tells us how the things has to be written, okay? What all punctuation marks, everything about the, rules and regulations of the grammar, rules and regulations of the language are mentioned in the grammar, okay? So here you can consider this structure of HTML as a basic rule that has to be followed while creating any website. Okay, so I discuss each of the part of this basic structure. So first thing that we have to mention is doc type HTML. Okay, it has to be mentioned the way it is. Okay, what does that mean? Doc type means document type. So whenever you are creating a HTML file, you need to mention, because the browser will come to know, I mean with this line the browser will come to know that whatever is coming as an input is HTML, is a HTML document. Okay, next is HTML opening, HTML closing. Whatever, no matter whatever you're going to mention as a part of HTML code should be written inside this opening and closing of HTML tag. Clear? Alright. Now see, just like a human body, I mean it's divided into, a human body is divided into head and then the body, right? Head consists of the area till our, maybe chin or neck, correct? So the same way the entire HTML file is divided into head and body. Okay, we'll discuss about each one of it. See, head contains the data about the data in the body. Whatever code is written inside this body, head will be talking about that. Okay, so first thing that we need to mention inside the head is title. Now title tag defines the heading to your tab. I'll just show it to you practically. See, can you see this YouTube? Okay, create a new pen, whatever it is. So this heading to the tab comes from this title. Clear? Okay. Next is body. Now, see, once you have written the title, you have to write it here inside these, both of them. Okay, opening and the closing. Clear? Next, you're going to close the title, close head, and then open the body. Head will end over here itself. Okay, for now I just have to mention the title, so I have already mentioned it. Now I have closed the head. and opening of this body is here. Why do we need body? See, every component that we need in our website, we are going to put inside this body. Okay, between this opening and the closing of the body, we need to put our HTML code. Okay, code about what? Code about what components we need on our website. Clear? And then finally closing of the HTML that tells that my code, HTML code has ended. Okay. Okay, we will also see it practically, but I think first we should, look at the basic concepts. Okay, then we will definitely look into the practical part of it. So HTML tags we have already discussed. There are two types of tags, container and empty tags. Okay, then there are attributes of the tag. I think I'll tell you this, I'll show you this rather when we will be looking into the practical aspect of this. But for now, I'll just give you an introduction about these attributes. See, the literal meaning of attributes is the property, right? Let's say if I talk about attributes of some person, okay, a human being, then let's say a human has 2 eyes, 1 nose, okay, 2 ears, 2 cheeks, a forehead, 2 hands, 2 legs, okay. So all these are the attributes of a person, or let's say a property of a human being. So the same way, the property of the tags, we call them as attributes. Okay, we'll be looking into it, no need to worry. So next, I have already discussed the container tags and the empty tags. Okay, so here I think I need to take a break from the theoretical part, and definitely we will be looking into some, the practical aspect. Okay, so let me show you what I will be making over here. I have written some, this HTML code. I have already written it. Okay, I'll be showing you this first, and then probably I'll be doing practical things in front of you so that you'll get a better idea of it. Okay, let me run it to show you what it actually looks like. So here I have created a website about trees. Okay, so now this is a heading, some text about trees, then benefits of this trees. So here it's a heading, here it's a paragraph, here it's again a heading, right? Then an image, then some text, then a button. Okay, and then here we have a link. See what will happen. I'll show you the functionality of this website. When I click on this next button, what will happen? The image will change, the text will change, the benefit will change. Okay, once again, the image will change, the text will change, the image will change, the text will change. Okay, so that's the functionality of this button. Now see, here I have this link. So when I click this link, it will open a new tab in the same browser, and will open whatever link you want to place. So I have placed the link to more images. I simply, what I did, I simply searched about trees on Google, and I went to the image section, copied the link from there, and then pasted over here. Okay, so this is how a simple website is kind of created. So if I show you the actual coding of it, let's say I'll just show you here. So first I'll write basic structure doc type HTML. I'll close it. Let's open HTML. Okay, then head. All right, then title. Okay, I'll tell the title. Let's say the title is trees, and then I need to close the title tag. Okay, Then I'll close the head tag because we are done with the head part of it. I'll open body, and then let's say I want a paragraph. Okay, paragraph is a component that I want on my website. See here, I have this paragraph. Okay, so okay, before paragraph I want a heading. Okay, so what I'll do, let me bring it here. So I'll put a heading. Okay, heading H tag is used for the purpose of heading. There are 6 types of heading: heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, and so on till heading 6. See, what are these different headings for? See, H1 is the biggest heading. Okay, H6 is the smallest heading. Clear? So here, if I really want a big heading, so I'll say trees. Okay, and then I'll close my H1 tag. See, different types of heading, we can see it later in further sessions, but this is to just give you an idea. Okay, so heading we are already done. Let's say now this time I want a paragraph. Okay, so I'll simply copy the paragraph that I have pasted here. I'm just saving my time. Okay, so I'll put this. I need this paragraph, and then I'll close the P tag. P tag stands for paragraph. Okay, next, what do I need? I need another heading, benefits of trees. Okay, but before that, did you notice we also have some break? Okay, this gap in between, the vertical gap. Okay, so I'll simply put a BR. BR stands for break. Okay, it will give you some vertical gap. Okay, so this time I will use H3. H3 will be little smaller than this heading. Okay, so let's say benefits of trees. Okay, then I'll close H3. So if you notice, this heading is slightly smaller than this. Okay, and see, if I'll remove this BR no, what will happen? This benefits of trees will little closer to the paragraph. Did you notice? Okay, so I'll just give one more BR so that you will be kind of able to see the proper gap. Okay, did you notice the gap increased? This BR, one single BR will leave one horizontal space. Okay, if you'll add 2 BR, it will leave 2 horizontal spaces. Clear? Okay, so now after this benefits of trees, what do we need? We need an image. Okay, so let's say we will use IMG. IMG stands for image tag. Okay, IMG. Then SRC means source. What should be the source of our image? Okay, so maybe I would say I'll simply pick up some source. I have already picked it up from the Google. I'll paste it. Oh, sorry. Let's say I want this image. Okay, and I'll close it. I'll paste the source link. Okay, the URL of the image that I have. Then I'll close the bracket. So now I have an image on the screen. Okay, it's loading, don't worry. Okay, so can you see this image is very weird? I mean, the size is very, very, very big. I cannot even make it out that it's a tree, right? We can adjust the size in next few minutes. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so let's talk about this image. So CSS, I already told you, is about mentioning the how it looks. Okay, the styling of it. So let's say I want to say width should be 200 pixels and height should be again 200 pixels. Okay, so here my image is kind of placed. and properly uh, scaled, right? Now, if you notice that I mean, over here, this image was actually in the center, right? So what we can do here is, I can go to HTML, I can simply use this, kind of a center, CENTER, center tag to bring this image in the center. Okay, the image will be in the center now. Okay, so this was how I can, put the image. Now, next, I need some button. Okay, so I'll say button, and I'll simply, give some, let's say, ID. Okay, I'll just let it be like that. Okay, I want a text button next on the button, and here I have this button. But if you notice, the button is, in the same line here. So what do I need to do? I simply need a BR tag to put it in the next line, right? Let's wait for, yeah, perfect. So the button is here, correct? Okay, I'll close the tag. Now, after that, what do I need? I again need a H6 heading, okay? That will tell me simply, trees gives OXY, and everybody knows this, oxygen. Okay, I close H6. Perfect. Let it load. Okay, just see, trees gives us the oxygen. Okay, I'll close everything now. If you remember, we opened the center tag. I need to close that. I already opened this body tag. I need to close that, and finally I need to close the HTML. Correct? Okay. Oh, so I'll simply use this. It will not, I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's always a good practice to use the same caps option when you are opening it. Opening, and I mean, it's just a good habit to do that, okay? So it's like this. So my website looks exactly like this, except this, I mean, link that we need to put. Okay, I'll just show you. So I'll show you my code for this website now. I mean, you are in a good condition to kind of, see this code now. So you'll be able to understand it very, very, very easily. Div tag is used to create a division. Let's say I want to divide the website into different parts, I mean vertically, then we use this div tag. We may discuss this later on in detail. So H tag we have discussed. Okay, bold. Okay, let me talk about this bold tag. Bold tag is basically used to, let's say, make the text bold. Okay, I'll open it. I'll close here. Okay, so this time the text will be little bold, if you notice. Come on, load it. So benefits of trees is kind of bold this time. Okay. So next, let's look into our code. Center we discussed, image we discussed, H6, button, everything. A tag is to bring that link that is present on the bottom left corner. Okay. So let's try to discuss. Okay, see, CSS I have mentioned in separate file. You must be thinking, where is CSS? I mentioned this CSS in the separate file, JS in the separate file. Okay, so we'll be discussing about this JS and CSS in a separate session. For now, our main aim is to focus on HTML because that is the first thing that we have to do. Okay, so let's now get back to our okay, I think this code is all visible to you, right? So now maybe I will jump to my website. Okay, Uh, it's loading. So here we will discuss now the common um, tags that we have used. HTML, I told you it's to tell that our HTML code is lying inside this opening and the closing of HTML tag. Head is to tell the information about the tags that we have used in the body. Then title is to give a heading to our tab. Body is to put the components. H1 to H6 is to tell the heading. P paragraph is to tell the, let's say, uh, paragraph is to tell that our paragraph has started. BR is to give a vertical break. HR is to draw a line, horizontal line. Okay, here, what is this? See, sometimes it happens, no, we need to put some comments in our code. What are these comments for? Sometimes it's, let's say I have created this code, I have written down this code, but later on, if I'll pass on this code to you, what will happen? Might be, it is possible that you don't remember what this T tag is for. So I can give a comment over here. So comment we mention like this, sorry, like this, okay. P tag is to give a paragraph, okay, and then like this, okay. So this will not actually appear on your website, but this is a kind of a sentence or a statement that might be helpful for you when you are revisiting this code, okay. All right, so next tag is, okay, let it load. Okay, next tag is center. We use this tag to align something into center. Okay, there are three main options. You can align it left, right, or center. B tag is to let's say make the text bold. I, what is this I tag is for? I tag is used to put the text into italics. Okay. Okay, maybe I can show it to you. We still have a lot of time. I can show you here. Okay, so let's say benefits. Okay, maybe I'll put this I tag here and close this I tag here. So if you'll notice, the text will be little italicized. Okay. Look at this, freeze gives oxygen. Okay, it's little italicized, little tilted towards the right. Okay. Similarly, if I use a U tag is to underline. Okay. So this U tag, probably we can close it here. Okay. So U tag will, kind of underline the text. See, it's underlined. Okay. Next tag is, okay, strike tag. Strike tag is to strike the text. IMG, as I already told you, IMG is to place an image, and then the A tag is to insert any link in our website. Okay. Okay. So I think there should be no problem with this. Okay. Maybe I'll just little expand it so that in case it's not visible, I can show it to you properly. Okay. So again, see, almost we have designed our website in almost nearly we have done it in next let's say so it's 5:50. We have done it all of these designing part in just, let's say, 30 minutes, right? And in the next 30 minutes we will be able to put the CSS and JS. Okay, so this CSS and JS will not be doing it right now, but yes, of course we'll be covering it in the next few sessions. So I think there should not be any problem with this HTML. Okay, so just in case if you have any trouble in understanding any of the thing, you can connect to us. Okay. All right. So I think Okay, I can show you the website that we have already done here. See what it is doing now. Um, can you see this? What I can do is I can simply put some more text to show you. Okay. Um, Let me copy some text and paste it in the JS part that can, give you an idea. Okay. So in this JS part, what I have done, I have kind of, um, copy pasted because I have written this text. So here I have kind of, let's say I'll go to assets, I'll close this console, I'll go to assets, I copy this link, okay, I'll close it. Instead of this, I'm actually, placing some of the links so that, all the links that I have placed, these images are not present locally on this website. So what I'm doing, I'm picking up the images which are present on this website locally. Okay, so let me put this. Okay, let me again go to assets, pick another image. Okay, I'll just show it to you very, very, very quickly. Just allow me 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, a minute. Okay, okay, almost done, almost done, almost done. Okay, here we are. Okay, so I have placed uh, so many images here. Okay, so ing and benefits. Okay, let's talk about the attributes. See, there are two main attributes that we need to mention for the tags. Let's say first attribute is ID. Okay, ID, and the second one is class. Okay, you can consider these ID and class as, let's say, let's take an example of a team. Okay, a sports team. For example, let's consider soccer. Okay, let's consider soccer. So let's say there are um, 9 players including the extras. Okay, so these 9 players are given some jersey number, right? Jersey number, correct? So this jersey number will be completely different for all of those 9 um, players, right? Let's say, take a name. Okay, let's say Sophie. Sophie, there are 2 Sophies in a same team, same soccer team, but the jersey number for both the Sophie will be different. Okay, so this jersey number can be used to identify a player um, uniquely, correct? Similarly, we also have roll numbers, right? So these roll numbers are used to identify you uniquely in a class. That is what ID is. So this ID is actually used to uniquely identify a tag in this entire HTML code. Okay, so let's say what image is, I'll say ID that I have given to this image is, let's say, IMAGE. Okay, IMAGE. Okay, and this H to this heading I have given an ID as, let's say what ID I have used, benefit. Okay, so I'll name the benefit. Okay, so with this ID, if I say ID which a tag which has the ID benefit, please come forward. Okay, so then only this tag will stand up. Okay, or come in front. Okay, so let's say what we are going to do here is, so it's kind of this ID which will uniquely identify this H6 tag. Okay, now what is class? See, class is whenever you have to not uniquely identify a person, but you have to identify someone in a group. Okay, let's say the name of the soccer team that um, I am a member of, or let's say I am a player of, is um, whatever. I mean, you can consider it anything. Okay, Red Apple. Okay, Red Apple is the name of the soccer team. So you can put it as, you can use the same as class equals to here, let's say Red Apple here as well. Okay, and let's say you can use it here as well. So now if you say, okay, the tags which are under the class Red Apple, please get highlighted. Okay, so then this tag will also be highlighted and this tag. Okay, so it's, kind of, I'm saying Red Apple, please come forward. So the entire soccer team with the name Red Apple will kind of, come forward. Okay, so whenever we have to identify in a group, we use this class attribute. Okay, and whenever we have to uniquely identify a single element, we use this id. Clear? So that was about the attributes of tag. Okay, so these are the most commonly used tags, although there are lots of other tags that we'll be discussing further. But for now, these are the very common tags, most commonly tags that we generally use while putting things on the website. All right. Okay. So let me come back to our dashboard. So I just hope you've enjoyed the session, and yes, of course, we'll be meeting once again, and that was just the idea of web designing. I hope you join further sessions as well to know more about web development, to learn about CSS, JavaScript, and lot more. All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Happy learning.